Okay, ladies and gentlemen, good day all. You are welcome to my YouTube channel. So in today's video, we are going to look at the anatomical terminology. So without wasting much of our time, we are going to look at the introduction to anatomical terminology. So anatomical terminology is a standard language used in the medical and biological sciences. So these are the terms and the language that are usually used in the field of medicine as well as the biological sciences. And it allows professionals to describe the location of the body structures clearly and precisely. So these are some of the terms that are used in medicine or in biological science that are used to clearly and precisely describe the location of our body structures. So understanding this terminology is essential for effective communication in healthcare and research. If you are able to understand this concept of anatomical terminology, it will actually help you for effective communications in healthcare and research. And these are some of the following terms, or these are some of the terms and also their definition. Like for example, when we said inferior, or sorry, superior, I mean cranial. So superior, it means cranial, it means toward the heart. Sorry, toward the head. Toward the head. So superior or cranial, you can call it either superior or cranial, it means toward the head. Inferior, which is caudal, you can call it toward the bottom or the tail. So caudal, you can call it tail or toward the bottom. Superior or cranial means toward the head. Anterior, that is ventral, it means toward the front. And then posterior, which is dorsal, it means toward the back. So toward the back is posterior, anterior toward the front, and then inferior toward the bottom, superior toward the head. Medial, it means toward the midline of the body. So toward the midline of the body is called medial. And then we have lateral. So the lateral, it means toward the side of the body. So whenever we have the word lateral, it means toward the side of the body. Internal or deep, it means away from the surface of the body. It means inside, away from the surface of the body. External, it means away, it means toward the surface of the body, or you can call it superficial. It means at the surface or toward the surface of the body. When proximal, it means toward the main mass of the body. Distal, it means away from the main mass of the body. Visceral, it means related to internal organs. Parietal, it means related to the body walls. So this is actually some of the terminologies and their definitions in healthcare and research, especially in the field of medical and life sciences. So you shouldn't forget about this, ladies and gentlemen: superior, inferior, anterior, posterior, medial, lateral, internal, external, proximal, distal, visceral, and varietal. So now, importance of anatomical terminology. So accurate anatomical terminology minimizes misunderstanding in clinical settings. So if you're able to understand this anatomical terminology, it will actually help you as a practitioner actually or in medical or biological sciences in understanding terminologies in clinical settings. So if you didn't understand them very well, you will end up with misunderstandings, a lot of things in clinical settings. So it provides a universal reference and it understood across different languages and cultures. So this terminology aids in education, research, and the practice of medicine. So you need to understand them very well, ladies and gentlemen. If you're able to understand the following terminologies, it will actually help you and protect you from any kind of misunderstandings in the clinical settings. So starting with the anatomical position. Anatomical position. So the anatomical position serves as a standard reference point in anatomy. So in this position, a person stands upright. Like for example, this is actually an individual that is standing upright. So you see we have distal, we have lateral, we have inferior, we have anterior, and then we have posterior, we have proximal, we have distal, we have caudal, and we have cranial. So you see cranial, it means toward the head. Caudal at the bottom. Proximal toward the body mass. I think I have actually explained these terms in the first slide of this video. So this is actually the anatomical position. So in this position, a person stands upright facing upward with arms at the sides and also palms facing forward. So this orientation allows for consistent descriptions of body fat and their relationships. So this is actually an anatomical position where you can have an individual standing upright, indicating or indicated with different position: posterior, proximal, distal, lateral, inferior, and anterior. And you also have medial, caudal, and cranial. So then the directional terms. So see, here we are done with anatomical position, or the terms in anatomical position. And then in this one, we are going to look at the directional terms. So directional terms describe the locations of structures in relation to each other. So the common terms include superior. So when you say superior, it means above something. Then we also have inferior. So you see, if you can see clearly, ladies and gentlemen, this is superior. So it is above. It means above something. Then we have inferior. It means below something. We have anterior. It means front. Anterior means front. Posterior means back. So these terms help specifically the position of organs and structures in the body. So you can say at the superior of the kidney, inferior of the kidney, it means below the kidney. Superior of the kidney, it means above the kidney. Anterior of the head, it means front of the head. Posterior of our head, it means the back of our head. So this used to describe the anatomical position of the body part in relation to another. So these are the directional terms. So you want to actually indicate the direction of something. So you can see at the interior of the kidney, anterior of the liver, posterior of the liver, superior of the liver. So this is the terms that are used in directional terms: inferior, anterior, superior, and posterior. So the next thing is actually planes of the body. So anatomical planes are imaginary lines that divide the body into sections. So that is actually the planes of the term, or the planes of the body. They are anatomical planes that actually describe as an imaginary lines that divide the body into sections. And the three main planes are the sagittal. We have sagittal plane. Sagittal plane divide left and right. So when we say sagittal, it is actually a term that divides the body into left and right positions. And that is what we call sagittal. Like for example, this is sagittal plane. So it divided the body into lefts and rights. And then the next one is coronal. Coronal divide the body into front and back. So you see this is coronal. So coronal plane, we call it frontal plane. It divides the body into posterior and the anterior. That is the front and back. And then we have transverse. So a transverse plane is also divides the body into superior and the posterior portions. That is above and below. That is why you can see here, this is a transverse plane. So it's divided the body into superior, that is upper, and then posterior. So this is actually the planes of the body. So anatomical planes are imaginary lines that divide the body into sections. And these sections are three. We have coronal plane, which divide the body into anterior and posterior portions, which is left and the right. And then we have coronal plane. So the coronal plane divide the body into anterior and posterior. And then the next one is sagittal. So sagittal divides the body into left and right. And then we have transverse, which divide the body into upper and lower. So understanding these planes is crucial for visualizing the body structure during imaging and surgical procedures. Then the next one is actually the body cavities. So the human body is divided into several cavities that house different organs. So instead body cavities, they are cavities or they are organs that houses, or they are actually a portion or part of our body that houses or that contain different organs. So the major cavities that are found in human, we have cranial cavity, we have thoracic cavity, we have abdominal cavity, and then we have pelvic cavity. Like cranial cavity contain brain. Thoracic cavity contain hearts. So this is actually the cavity. So the thoracic cavity, like for example, it is actually superior ventral cavity, and enclosed by this thoracic cavity enclosed by rib cage, vertebral column, and sternum. Houses. So this thoracic cavity is a cavity that houses or that contain heart, lungs, trachea, esophagus, and great vessels. So that is where they are described. The cavities are described as houses that accommodate different organs. And this is just a typical examples of thoracic cavity that contain rib cage, vertebral, and of course we have cranial cavity which contain brain. So each cavity has specific functions and contains organs that work together to maintain homeostasis. So that is what we need to understand. So a cavity is the part of the human body that is divided into several cavities which contains or houses different organs. So we take thoracic cavity, cranial cavity, all these are the cavities that contain different organs and they work together in order to maintain homeostasis condition. Then the next one is, of course, the regional terms. So the regional terms refer to specific areas of the body, allowing for detailed descriptions. And examples of these regional terms include cephalic. So whenever we have the word cephalic, it means head. Cervical means neck. Thoracic means chest. And abdominal regions means abdomen. So you see, the regional terms are divided into three. We have axial, we have appendicular, then we have specific regional terminology. So the axial are divided into head, neck, and trunk. Then appendicular, it comprises of appendages or limbs, the forelimbs and upper limbs. So these are actually the division of the regional terms. So for the axial, we have cephalic, we have cervical, thorax are all under axial. And then we have appendicular, which comprises of appendages or limbs. So similarity with these terms enhances the ability to communicate about specific body parts. So now the next thing is actually the medical imaging and anatomical terminology. So there are terminologies that are used in medical imaging. So medical imaging techniques rely on anatomical terminology for accurate interpretation. So during imaging or after imaging, the best way for you to have an accurate interpretation is to know the anatomical terminology. So the common imaging modalities include X-rays, CT scans, MRI, and ultrasound. So proper use of anatomical terms ensures clear communication among healthcare professionals regarding imaging findings. So what are the common anatomical terms? So the common anatomical terms, some common anatomical terms include distal, it means farther from the point of attachment. So if you have a point of attachment and you call it distal, it means that that location is far apart from the point of attachment. And we have proximal. So the proximal, it means it is closer to the point of attachment. So other important terms are medial, it means toward the midline. I described this. And lateral, it means away from the midline. So the mastery of these terms is essential for understanding anatomy and performing clinical examinations. So you see, the wrist is proximal to the hand. What does that mean? It means the wrist is closer to our hand. Elbow is proximal to the wrist. It means that our elbow is closer to the attachment of our wrist. Shoulder is proximal to the elbow. So you see the word proximal, it means closer. So elbow is distal to the shoulder. It means that it is far apart from the shoulder. So the next thing, ladies and gentlemen, is conclusion. So a solid understanding of anatomical terminology is vital for anyone in the medical field, and it enhances communication, education, and overall care of patients. So continued study and practice of these terms will contribute to professional success in healthcare. So thank you very much. Please, ladies and gentlemen, don't forget to subscribe and join to my YouTube community. See you next.